Okay, Savannah, welcome everybody. And maybe if Savannah and Rosemary can do some introductory comments on
Yeah.
behalf of
Well,
themselves.
we're all set to go. We're good to
I,
go. Thanks, Wayne.
I'm in and out of other sessions, so welcome to all of our chairs and co-chairs. Thank you for taking the opportunity to join us on a Saturday morning, and of course for putting your name forward as chairs and co-chairs at your school. Like I said, I'm Wayne Brunton, Superintendent of Education, in support of CSAC, but of course you're in good hands today with Superintendent Savannah Goss and Principal Rosemary Pizzelli to lead you through the presentations for chairs and co-chairs. And I'll turn it over to Savannah.
Thank you so very much, Wayne. Hope you have a good day.
Take care.
Thank you.
All right, bye. All right, so we're ready to go. So I'm Savannah Goss, as Wayne said. I'm Superintendent of Mississauga South in terms of a group of schools that are in my care. And this morning, Rosemary and I will be presenting. So I'll let Rosemary introduce herself.
Yes, thank you, Savannah. I'm Rosemary Pizzelli, and I'm principal of Our Lady of Providence School in Brampton. And I've been in the Circuit Committee of Catholic School Councils for almost 15 years. It's been quite a journey. And I've always enjoyed our Catholic School Councils and being a part of supporting all Catholic School Councils. So I'm here just to assist Savannah and to answer any questions from a principal's point of view. So thank you.
Oh dear, let's see if I can go back. Well, yes, I shouldn't touch anything because things move fast. Thank you so very, very much, everyone, for being with us this morning. As you see, Zoom is, I have to be very honest, I'm usually on Teams. This is something a little new for me in terms of presenting. I've been on many times on Zoom, but not sharing my slides. So here I am. We're going to begin. As always, we begin with our land acknowledgement with prayer. And the purpose of this morning is really to review the school council chair role, help you understand what each of the different positions are. I'm going to go through a few slides and talk about each of these things, talk a little bit about finance, the relationship with principals and so on. And then at the end, I'm both Rosemary and I are very, very happy to take any questions that you may have and just, kind of spend the next hour or so together. Our plan is that I know you all have family to get to, and it's almost going to be lunch hour, so we understand. So if I don't, Rosemary and I do not get to your question, you know that we are both available to you anytime via email. You can just email any of the questions. You know how to get through. We're all kind of have the same address. You just put our name, and as I said, mine is Savannah Goss at Dufferin Peel, and it's all of them are the same. So you can email me anytime, and I'm very happy to respond. Or if you want me to call you, I'm happy to do that as well. You can just send me an email with your telephone number, and I'll get right back to you. So without further ado, I would like to begin. I would just ask if you would please mute your microphone so that we don't have feedback and everyone can hear. You're welcome to turn on your cameras or have them off, whatever works best. I need to tell you sincerely, I've been doing some presentations on social media, and it's always a little difficult because I don't get to see all of you. I don't get to see your expression. I don't get to see your faces, and that's always very difficult. But anyway, off we go. So we would like to begin by acknowledging that we are on sacred territory of the Mississaugas of the New Credit, and we thank them for being stewards of this land. And so after a fantastic presentation that we had this morning, I think it's only fitting for us to bring that back to our Catholic faith and center us back as well to what we believe in and what we are all about. And I thought that the prayer of St. Francis might do very well for this, in the sense that it almost encompasses and wraps around all of the presentation and our children and all of the educators and parents that are with us today. So you're welcome to join me in the prayer of St. Francis. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. And where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to understand and to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. And so we begin. So the actual purpose of a Catholic School Council, through the activities and participation of parents, we promote the faithful mission, vision, and values of the board, support the sacramental life and Catholic practices of the board, promote and support cooperation and communication with the local parishes and WAPSI, and improve student well-being and achievement, as well as enhance the accountability of the education system with our parents. The purpose, a Catholic School Council's primary purpose, is to work collaboratively with the school principal and make recommendations in accordance with Regulation 612 to the principal of the school and to the board that established the Catholic School Council. Now, I realize that in this particular presentation, we have chairs and co-chairs that are in the elementary panel. We have some that are in secondary panel. We have parents that have been on council before, and this is just going to be a review. And then we have parents who are taking this on for the very first time. So the gamut is very wide. However, this is either a refresher or some new information, and I hope that it will be helpful. So when we look at the collaboration with the principal, this is like really the cornerstone. As a principal for many years, and as principals are today, we look to the school council to support us, to give us recommendations, to represent our, or in this case, their constituents, if you will, all of the parents in the school. So it's a work in progress, it's a collaboration that we work together. The consultation piece, the Catholic School Council shall, within the parameters prescribed in the Education Act, the regulations thereunder, and the policies and procedures of the board, provide advice to the school principal and to the board on any matters. The board and the principal shall consider any recommendations made and shall advise the council on the actions taken by the board or the school in response to the recommendation. So your recommendations are taken very, very seriously because you, as the school council chair, represent the school. You're not, in your role, you're not representing only your child, you're representing all the children in that particular school. So we're talking in a school of 120 students or 1,220 or 2,220. The schools, the range of students that you're representing and the range of parents is quite large, but you are the conduit between parents and the school. And that is why it is so important for the school principal to listen carefully to what you have to say. The Catholic School Council composition. So designated members. The principal shall be a designated member and is not eligible to vote. The principal may designate any of his or her power or duties as a member of the Catholic School Council to a vice principal. That will only happen on occasion. This is something that principals take very, very serious, and they do try very hard to be present at each of the school council meetings. But again, they're not a voting member because they are a designate. The elected members, parent members shall be parents of students enrolled in the school and English separate school supporters or spouses of English separate school supporters. So these are the core, this is the core school council, the elected members, which can consist of, in some cases, 3. In some cases, we have up to 12 or 15. So it depends on the bylaws made at the school level as well, and the size of the actual school council. The school council, again, a little more around the composition, the elected members. A person who is not qualified to be a parent member of the Catholic School Council. If a person is employed at the school, so just at the school, not employed at the board. If he or she is employed elsewhere by the board and fails to take responsible steps to inform the voters of that employment. So they can't be on if they have not told the school council that they are employed by the board, but they are not necessarily employed in your school. The teacher representative shall be elected by the members of the teaching staff at that school. So you have one teacher representative, you have one non-staff, non-teaching staff member that shall be elected by the members of the non-teaching staff. So that would include, for example, the secretaries, and usually one of the secretaries in the school takes on this role, but not always. It just depends on the particular school. As we move forward, we talk about appointed members. The community representative from a parish in the region served by the school council shall be appointed by the Catholic School Council in consultation with the parish or with the parish pastor. So this particular person would take on the responsibility of ensuring that the school community is kept abreast of all activities that happen at the church and is the liaison and consultant to the pastor. So with that, that is why we need a consultation with the pastor. Other community representatives may be appointed by the Catholic School Council in accordance with CCCSC bylaws. A person employed by the board can be appointed as a community representative on the council only if he or she is employed at the school or other members of the school council are informed of the person's employment before the appointment. So if there's a need to have somebody from the community or the council feels they need a community rep and they would like to have one, they are welcome to appoint somebody and they would be part of the school council. But again, this is not necessarily the same in all schools. It just depends on the community and the school council. As we move forward, one person shall be appointed as a WAPC representative in consultation with the Peel Region Association of Parents in Catholic Education. One student representative in secondary school shall be appointed by the student council at the school. Any elementary student may be appointed by the principal if it is determined after consultation with other members of the Catholic School Council that the council shall include a pupil. So this, in elementary, this is optional. In secondary, it is not. In secondary, that would be an expectation that you would have a student, at least one. Sometimes the student council will have 2 because students get busy. It might be a bad night, they might have tests or an exam or whatever. And so they would have 2 and they would just take turns. And so that happens often in secondary schools. But in elementary, many times you might have an intermediate student that might want to be part of the school council, and they are welcome as long as they come forward and the council is happy to have them. A member of the board cannot be a member of the Catholic School Council. So all council members shall have a criminal reference check or an annual criminal offense declaration. So that is really important and it should be followed. As we move along in terms of the Catholic School Council term of office, a person is elected or appointed as a member of the Catholic School Council from the date of his or her election. So the election would have taken place in early October, and the person's appointment on the council will be to the first meeting of the council before the election of the following year. So before the election, what happens is that you terminate or you close that year's or the year before's school council, and then you would have a new school council that would be elected in, and everyone would be reappointed. And that would have happened already in October. A member of a Catholic school council may be reelected and reappointed, and that happens very often. We see in many of our councils that we've had chairs that have been chairs for a number of years, or maybe a treasurer or secretary, or even you may have people that change the position. So someone may come in as a secretary and then decide that they wanted to be the chair or a co-chair. And so in the next election, that's what would happen. In terms of vacancy, a vacancy in a membership of a Catholic school council shall be filled by election or appointment. If an election is held to fill a vacancy, and that could be any time, so the vacancy can happen as quickly as you've had an election in October, and by November the person has had to step down due to family issues or work issues or whatever. So it could be that quickly, or it could be into the school year in spring, or maybe at some other time. So the vacancy could happen anytime, and it would be filled in membership of the Catholic School Council. The criteria outlined in the election and appointment is applied, just as you did right at the very beginning, with necessary modifications to the elections. So there may be some modifications in terms of how many people put their name forward and so on, but that would be up to the council at that time. A vacancy in the membership of the Catholic School Council does not prevent the council from exercising its authority. So for example, if you were missing a treasurer, you would not say, well, we can't have our meeting. You would still go ahead and you would work on trying to find a treasurer or any other vacancy that you may have at the time. As we move along, the council's responsibility. So the council's responsibility of establishing its goals, priority, and procedure. So you organize a faith formation. These are some of the things that would be the responsibility. As I said, organizing faith formation, information and training sessions to enable members of the council to support the faith formation of all young people and staff and parents as well, and enhance the skills of council members. So that, for example, our keynote speaker may be someone that you may want to invite to enhance the skills and the information of staff, of other parents, students. That might be a good example to fit in here. Communicate regularly with parents and other members of the community to seek their input with regards to matters being addressed by the school council, and to report on the activities of the council to the school community. So the communication piece becomes crucial, because usually there's just a small group that meets, and yet you're serving and representing the entire parent community out there. And so you want everybody informed. Another responsibility is to promote the best interest of the school community. So really the school council is there to look at the entire school community and bring forward and promote these best interests for all, and consult with parents of students enrolled in the school about matters under its consideration. So if there's something that you as a school council would want to bring forward, it would become incumbent on the school council to bring these things forward and get some consultation, some input from the rest of the school. So what is the role of the principal in terms of the school council? It is to promote the Catholic vision, values, and sacramental life of the Dufferin-Peel Catholic District School Board. The principal shall attend every meeting of the school council unless he or she is unable to do so by reason of illness or other cause beyond his or her control. The principal will act as a resource person to the Catholic School Council and assist the Catholic School Council to obtain information relevant to functions of the council, including information relating to the relevant legislation, regulations, and policies These come down often from the ministry in terms of legislation, regulations, and policies that are changing that have to do not only with the school council, but many times things that have to do with the entire school community and the education of our children. And so it's incumbent on the school principal to bring that forward to the school council. The principal is also in charge of collaborating with the chair and the co-chair to ensure that the council is familiar with and makes decisions through the lens of the Catholic virtues and the Ontario Catholic School graduate expectations. So our focus as a Catholic system is always on our Catholic faith. As we move forward, other important things that the principal is responsible for. He or she is responsible to post any materials distributed to the members of the Catholic School Council in the school in a location that is accessible to all parents. And now, of course, we have more than one place. Years gone by, we would have a binder that would be housed in the front office, and all of the minutes and all of the information shared would be housed there. However, today we have a different way of communicating with our parents. We have things like Twitters at the school, we have our website and so on. And so it becomes incumbent on the principal to, with the chair, to ensure that this is very accessible to all parents so they are not searching everywhere, or they don't feel that they need to come into the school to get that information. The principal is also in charge of making the names of the members of the Catholic School Council known to the parents of the pupils enrolled in the school by publishing their names in the school newsletter or by other means as likely to bring the names to the attention of the parents so that parents know who is actually representing us on school council. He or she is also in charge of providing for the prompt distribution of each member of the Catholic School Council any material received by the principal from the Ministry of Education that are identified by the Ministry of Education as being for distribution to the members of the council. He or she is also responsible to consider each of the recommendations made by the school council and advise the council of the actions taken in response to that recommendation. So for example, if the council was to say that they wanted, they just wanted the gym used more often, or the children to go out for recess, a longer recess or something like that, which is some of the things that have come forward with COVID now, then they would make that recommendation to the principal, and then the principal would take that back, review it, and come back and say, well, you know, the recess is 15 minutes and the reason is because of this, or 20 minutes, the reason because of this, with our outdoor and indoor. And also bringing back, well, this is the legislation. The Education Act says this is what we're supposed to do. This is what we're doing, and then we have a discussion. So those are the kinds of, for a very minor example that has come forward. And of course, the principal is also responsible to manage and the collection and accounting and depositing funding dollars that are collected with the school council, and being transparent with that. So then we turn to the role of the chair. Your role as a chair or co-chair in your particular school community. The role is as follows. You must be a member of the school parent community. You must be a full voting member. Be ready as a chair or co-chair to regularly attend and participate in the Catholic School Council meetings. Your job would be to call and set dates in consultation with the school principal and the Catholic School Council members. So you would go, for example, set an appointment with the principal and then sit down and look at the entire year and say, okay, how many meetings do we need to have? And of course, it would be minimum of 4, or you may have 1 a month. It depends on what you and your principal decide in consultation with each other to figure out what is best. And then communicate that with the members and share that information so that it becomes transparent and everyone has a say. To prepare an agenda for the Catholic School Council meeting in consultation with the principal and members of the council. So sometimes the secretary will say, I'd like to put this on the agenda, or the principal will say, it would be a good idea to put that on the agenda and we can have a discussion about it. That's the kind of agenda that would be inclusive and everyone would have a chance to participate. However, at the end of the day, you as the chair or co-chair are responsible for setting that agenda. The chair also, all of the council plans and sessions and meetings are on you to organize that, as well as to set the Catholic contents for the meeting by including a prayer, relevant faith news, information, or any other announcement. You also are responsible to collaborate with the principal to ensure that the council is up to date with and making decisions through the lens of the Catholic virtues, the practices, and the Ontario Catholic graduate expectations. As we move along, other important things that you are responsible for as a chair or co-chair. Responsible to ensure that the minutes of the Catholic School Council meetings are recorded and maintained. So yes, you have a secretary and that's what they would be doing, is collating the minutes and getting them ready. But at the end of the day, it is your responsibility to make sure that they are done and that they are complete and they're ready to present at the next meeting. To provide the chairperson's report to the Catholic School Council at all meetings of the council. To act as a signing officer for checks or check requisitions and deposit forms, if applicable, that may mean that you might have a treasurer that might do that responsibility, or it may fall on you. Again, this depends on your community. To be a sitting member of the council budget committee. If you have a budget committee, again, this is on various communities. They have a separate budget committee and some don't, depending on how big your budget is. So in secondary, as you know, there isn't really a budget for school council. They don't really do a lot of fundraising, whereas in elementary you do. So you may have, if it's a large budget and you have a large school council, you may have a separate small committee that's called the budget committee, of which of which the chair should be part of. The chair should also participate in faith development, information and training program, communicate with the school principal on a regular basis. And again, the communication may be at whichever way works best for you and the principal. It could just be by email, by text, it could be phone calls, whichever way works best and for the both of you. To ensure that there's a regular communication with the school community. So that means that if there's regular communication between the chair and the school principal, then it becomes very easy to communicate with the rest of the school community rather than just wait for that particular meeting. You're always welcome to call if something does come up, as well as to consult with senior board staff or trustees as required. So if the chair feels that there's something that you wanted the trustee to be part of, you as the chair are welcome to call. And as always, you're always welcome to call your superintendent if there is something that you feel that you need clarification on and you would like to get more information. You're also welcome to provide the leadership to the members of the school council, ensuring that they have a clear understanding of their role and their mandate. And that is why we're reviewing it this morning. So the role of the treasurer is to be, again, a full voting member, to be regular attend the meeting. They should be there at every meeting and participate in the Catholic School Council meeting and decisions, may act as one of the approved signing officers on the Catholic School Council check requisition on the general form, and as a signing authority for School Council bank account. Now that has changed slightly. You work with the budget secretary in secondary, or you would work with the head secretary and the principal in elementary around budget. The treasurer shall chair and manage the Catholic School Council Budget Committee if again, there is one. Also, the treasurer shall count and verify the funds received for deposit immediately in the presence of the persons giving funds and completing the Catholic School Council funds received general form. That's usually done in the school and is always done with members of the staff. In this case, it might be the head secretary or the principal. Many times it is done with the principal. All deposits to the Catholic School Council bank account will be the responsibility of the principal. The collection, accounting, and depositing of fundraising dollars are managed by school council and the principal together. The designated individual will record the deposit in school cash net. That it would depend on each of the schools. So we encourage the treasurers to be in contact with the head secretary or the principal, depending on the school setup and how you have that set up in your particular community. The treasurer shall follow Dufferin Peel Catholic District School Board's general administration procedures, outline standardized procedures, and accompanying general forms, check requisitions, and fund receipt. The treasurer shall also provide ongoing financial bank reconciliations, which will be provided by the school so that he or she can present to the council and any parent in the community, and shall provide a year-end financial statement of the Catholic School Council annual report. That is their presentation. They would work with that with the principal again in consultation and working together. Shall ensure all financial reports are held in the minutes in the binder in the main office. As I said, we still do keep a binder in the office as well as posted in terms of the financial report, and all financial reports shall be held at the school for a period of 7 years. The role of the secretary, again, is to be a full voting member, again, regularly attending and participating in the Catholic School Council meetings. They would record the proceedings of all school council meetings. The job of the secretary is to maintain a complete set of Catholic School Council minutes and all legal and important documents, to ensure that all the documents are held in the minutes binder in the main office, to provide full public access. So whatever is there is the privy of everybody. We have complete transparency at the school level, and all documents shall be held at the school for a period of 7 years. So if somebody walks in and wants to know what the minutes were of a school council that happened in October in your school 7 years ago, they should be able to pull that binder out, look at it, and be able to read exactly what was said. So you need to be very careful about the minutes and how they are presented to everyone, to ensure that everything that was discussed is captured in that. And distribute the minutes and the agenda for all school council meetings to all the pertinent parties in a timely fashion. So what this truly means is the minutes should be written up. They should be given to the council and the principal at least 2 to 3 days before the next meeting. So if you had a meeting in October, your November meeting should have the minutes ahead of time of the October meeting, so everyone has a chance to read them over and make sure that they are all correct. When you get to the meeting, you ask if any of the minutes, if there's any changes that need to happen in the minutes because something was not captured or something was captured incorrectly, or there's a mistake of any kind, be it spelling, punctuation, whatever it may be, and then the corrections are made. And then the school council would pass a motion to accept the minutes. Once they are accepted at the next meeting, they should be posted within 2 days of the meeting so that the entire community has a chance to see what the minutes were of the October meeting. So that's when we talk about pertinent parties in a timely fashion, that's pretty well what we're looking for. The secretary's responsibility is also to, as I said, to post all minutes and meeting notices in a designated play area of the school. So my advice would be that they should be a hard copy at the office, plus on the school website or wherever all of the meetings are posted. So all meetings must be posted and all minutes must be posted in the same location, so all parents are aware. The role of the secretary is to assist the chair in the writing and the sending of unnecessary correspondence, to act as an assistant to the chairperson. So here I would encourage all the chairs today to ensure that your secretary maybe gives you a hand even to find a really good prayer, to maybe they get the agenda, and you might want to put it in our standard form as we do with all of our agendas at the board. I will leave that piece up to you. We need to make it look professional and make it look like this is a really important meeting because we are having it at the school, and it is something that should be held as something that the entire community is looking to this group in terms of their professionalism, as well as to distribute the minutes to the members, as I said, 2 days before the meeting, along with the agenda, to ensure the chairperson or co-chairs establish quorum, right, at the meeting before it begins. So quorum, that's something that I need to remind everybody of. Quorum is 50% or more of the voting parents should be at the meeting. So that if anything you need to take a vote on anything, then what needs to happen is that you need to have 50% there, because otherwise you can't pass anything and there would be no vote. Sometimes what happens at the meetings too is that you don't have quorum. That does not mean that you necessarily have to say that you will dissolve the meeting or you will not have the meeting. You may have the meeting, you just have to recognize that you can't vote on anything. So you might go ahead, there might be a situation, let's say, for example, there's a snowstorm that particular Tuesday night when you're having, well, Tuesday's not a good night, so we'll talk about that in a minute, but Monday night there's a snowstorm and you don't have your voting members, you don't have quorum that night, but many of your other members would like to still have their meeting. You are welcome to go ahead and have the meeting. You're welcome to get your secretary to take notes and to do all of that, but you would put that in your minutes when you have your next meeting, and defer all things that needed to be voted upon. So if you were voting, for example, you wanted to have a fundraiser and you were voting to have this fundraiser happen in I don't know, during the Christmas holiday, just before the Christmas holidays for Christmas, but you needed to vote on that, well, you couldn't vote unless you had the quorum. You have to have 50% or more, but you can still have a meeting and inform the community about the events that are happening. So the quorum really has to do with the voting. The role of the parish representative. Again, the parish rep is to be a full voting member. This is a position that's very important because of our liaison with the church. Regularly attend and participate in the Catholic school council meeting. Provide guidance to the Catholic School Council concerning faith formation and initiatives and issues of the parish community which affect the Catholic education of our children. This is very important in terms of our elementary parish reps, where we have the majority of our sacraments happen in elementary. So what we work with the parish for our children to receive the sacrament of First Communion, reconciliation, and confirmation. And sometimes even some of our children receive baptism at a very young age. And that's part of what they do in junior, senior kindergarten. So you see, like that is the majority of our sacraments happen. And that is why the communication becomes imperative with our parish rep, along with, of course, our spiritual leader, which is the principal of the school. The parish rep is also responsible for to serve as a communication link between the parish and the Catholic School Council with respect to parish events related to the school. So you might have a mass at the school, an opening mass or an Advent mass, which they're all coming up now. And in our case now with COVID, we're having virtual masses. The parish rep would, one of their responsibilities would be to ensure that they're part of that as well, so that they can inform the rest of the parents that the children will be participating in this virtual mass, along with the school principal would also let the families know. But it is always really good to have the representative be part of in consultation with the rest of the school community. Also, the parish rep would sit on the Faith Development Committee. Many times, many of our schools have a subcommittee, and out of that as well, many times we have the parish rep sit in on our pastoral plans as we get our pastoral plans ready for the entire year. Many of our parish reps sit in on that as well. In terms of the role of the Ontario Association for Parents in Education, our OAPSB member, again, it would be a full voting member. Again, this is a very, very important role. Regularly attending and participating in the Catholic School Council meeting, the representative or OAPSB, as a voice of the Association for Catholic School Council. They bring back some outstanding information and many wonderful special guests that they have, that they are in contact with, and so it really helps to flourish and bring back skills to our school council. As well, they report on the council, the information shared by OAPSB at all meetings. They attend the Dufferin Peel Regional Council meeting and the annual general meeting of OAPSB when able. Our financial responsibility as a school council group. So these are some of the responsibilities. Any funds raised or assets purchased by the school council legally belong to the school. So this is a really important one. So whatever the school council funds are raised, and they, as a school council, you decide, be it technology, devices, whiteboards, equipment for gym, or whatever else that the school council decides through election, they vote on it, through the voting, they decide to buy something, it does belong to the school board. Also, the financial responsibility of the school council is to clearly define roles and responsibility of the principal, chair, treasurer, and designated individuals, to clearly define procedures for banking, receipts, and disbursements, the financial reporting requirements. The principal ultimately is responsible for all school activities, which include school council. And the principal, along with the school council, manages all activities and funds. So these are the important responsibilities in terms of finance. The principal loves to work with the school family. Every principal in Dufferin Peel loves to work with their school council in managing all of these great activities. And if we can, and do fundraising for the good of our children to support all of the great programs. But at the end of the day, it is managed by the principal in consultation with the school council. And no checks issued without the approval of the school council chair, vice chair, and treasurer. So it's all in consultation, working together. The Catholic School Council meetings. So the meetings themselves, what should they be like? So a Catholic School Council shall meet at least 4 times during the school year. And I've mentioned that before, that's the minimum. Many of our council meet every month. And that is a decision that the principal, school council chair, and the school council themselves decide. And it is very prevalent throughout the board that that's what happens. A Catholic school council shall meet within the first 35 days of the school year after elections have been held on a date fixed by the principal of the school. A meeting of the school council cannot be held unless the principal or designate and a majority of the current members of the school council are present at the meeting. So these are, as I said, the majority. If you're voting, you have to have quorum. But if a majority of people want to meet, you go ahead and meet. A majority of the members of the school council who are present at the meeting are parent members. So this is for the parents, by the parents. It doesn't mean that no one can come in. No, others can participate, but this is for the children and their parents of the school. And that's always very important to remember. All meetings of the school council shall be open to the public. So as I said, if someone wants to come in and be part of the meeting, they're welcome to. But they cannot be part of the school council themselves, because only parents of the school council, of the parents of the children who belong to that school, are part of the school council. A school council is entitled to hold its meeting at the school. Most of them are held at the school. Of course, now that we are in terms of COVID and we cannot gather at the school, we do it virtually, but regularly that's where they would be. All meetings of the school council shall be held at a location that is accessible to the public. So so you're not allowed to have it in a place where the rest of the public could not come in and participate. So for example, at someone's home, you could not hold that at someone's home. That's not where we usually have our school councils. The principal of the school shall, on behalf of the school council, given written notice to the dates and times and location of the meeting of the council to every parent of a pupil who, on the date of the notice is given, is enrolled in the school. So everyone, this is the reason that we have in advance, we would put up on our school website and maybe in other locations, the exact date, time, and location of each meeting. So parents of the students in the school can participate. Giving the notice to the parent's child for delivery or to his or her parent, and posting the notice. So it should be in two places. So in other words, if there's a school newsletter, then it would just be sent home in the school newsletter along with another location of accessibility. So that's what it's saying. It has to be at least in two places. The school council voting. The principal of the school is not entitled to vote in votes taken by the school council or by a committee of the school council on any issue. That is not the role of the principal. The school council voting, with the exception of the principal, each member of the school council is entitled to one vote in votes taken by the council. So everyone has a vote, and that is how things are determined. With the exception of the principal, each member of the committee of this Catholic School Council is entitled to one vote in voting by the committee. There shall be no email or proxy vote on any item that the Catholic School Council votes on. So in other words, let's say you were voting on a particular piece of equipment that you wanted to put in the kindergarten yard, and you had done fundraising around that, and you were trying to decide on which piece you wanted to buy, then someone could not send in a proxy. Only people who are present get to vote on that particular issue or that particular piece of equipment. In terms of the Catholic School Council bylaws, Catholic School Council may make bylaws governing the conduct of its affairs. Each has that ability to do that, the bylaws governing their particular council. Every school council shall make the following bylaws. 1, a bylaw that governs election procedures and the filling of vacancies in the membership of the school council. 2, a bylaw that establishes rules respecting participation in school council proceedings in case of conflict of interest. So that needs to be very clear. If there is a conflict of interest, for whatever reason, there needs to be a bylaw around that, and a bylaw that, in accordance with any applicable policy established by the board, establishes a conflict resolution process for internal council disputes. So sometimes, which we wish we never ever had, any conflict on anything, but unfortunately we don't all see things the same way, and that's a good thing, because sometimes we have differing opinions on the same issue. So the school council needs to have a formal way of how they're going to deal with a particular dispute. The school council remuneration, there shall be no remuneration paid to members of the school council. So this is completely voluntary. You come of your own accord, and no one gets paid for their time served, be it a little or be it lots. It's up to the individual. The remuneration of member expenses is at the sole discretion of the board, and each school council is obligated to have the council and principal authorize and approve reimbursement of expenses incurred by members as members or officers of the council. So an example of that might be somebody you're having, not during COVID times now, but if once this is over, hopefully very soon, let's say you were going to host an event, and one of the members went out and decided that they were going to buy something for the event, whatever it was, streamers, as a top of mind. So if someone went out and bought streamers, before they would buy streamers, then they would say, my job will be to get streamers. They would let the council know. The council would agree that Ms. Smith would go and buy streamers and would bring the bill to the school council, and then the principal and the chair would agree that Ms. Smith needs to be reimbursed for the streamers. So people can't go out and expect that things are just reimbursed and they would do things on their own. Everything needs to come through the council, and everything needs to be agreed upon by the council, because we don't reimburse expenses or anything else that happens without the consultation of the principal and the chair. Conflict of interest.
So Savannah, excuse me.
Yes.
So we passed an hour. I just wanted to let you know that we're at the hour mark, and I'm not sure if you wanted to provide time. There are some recurring things in the chat that I've been reading that you may want to address. I'm not sure whether you want to leave it for to address after the presentation. I'm not sure where you want to go. I just wanted to let you know that
We're I think I only have 2 more slides. May I just finish and then?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Well, I didn't know. That's absolutely.
Yeah, I'm almost done. So I'm just going to do conflict of interest, and then the annual report, and then I'm all done. And then we'll go to if there are any questions. So conflict of interest. The Catholic School Council members must be independent and impartial in carrying out the duties. That's really, really important. I would please take that to heart. This is a very important thing. Each member of the Catholic School Council should avoid situations that could result in an actual, potential, or perceived conflict between the overall goals and visions of the Catholic School Council and a personal or monetary interest in the Catholic School Council member. So this one to me is really, really important. You need to really be aware of this. People need to come to the school council open and free of other potential situations that may be there for other personal reasons, because we are all there. When we come as parents to the Catholic School Council, we come representing the entire group, not a personal interest. In terms of the annual report, I'm just going to run through this very quickly. So every Catholic School Council shall have submit an annual report, and that's written in consultation with the principal. You look at it, the chair would look at it with the principal and work through that. all of what was engaged in terms of fundraising activities, in terms of what activities you decided to do that particular year. The principal shall, on behalf of the Catholic School Council, give a copy of the report to every parent of the pupils who, on the date of the copy is given, is enrolled in the school. Okay? Giving the report to the parent's child for delivery to his or her parent, and then post it also on wherever it's accessible. And that's the end of it. And now, time for questions. So I'll turn it over to Rosemary.
Okay, well, there were numerous comments and questions posed through our chat, so thank you to everyone who did take part in that. I think those are very valuable thoughts and questions. You've asked some very good questions that we could try to address. It seems that there are some recurring themes. One of them is, how do we get input from the community or members of the council, other than members of the council? How do we get their input or views? How do we bring it forward to the principal? Can we use Twitter? Can we use Gmail? Can we use school newsletters to do such? Can we have Facebook page where parents can share their thoughts? I'm just reading you some of the things. Can we use board vendors? Can we buy computers now? I thought we were told that we're not supposed to use generated funds to buy computers. Who takes care of the websites? Many of our schools don't have updated websites. Valid point. And there was also questions around who sets up meetings for our monthly meetings, and fundraising ideas were some thoughts around that. So I think you want to start. Which one do you want to address?
I think that those are very, very good questions. And in terms of the one that just really jumps out at me right now is the one around setting meetings. I think that the chairs, what they need to do is they need to connect with their principals, and they need to set that up. That's really, really important. You as the chair, go and ask for some time with the principal, sit down together to set up a time and maybe look at the calendars together. The only night that a school council should not meet is Tuesday night, because as you know, that's a board meeting night. Every Tuesday night, the trustees are not available. As you know, trustees love to come to the school council. They have lots and lots of information and are very happy to answer questions at the board level, which some of these questions are board level questions. So I am very conscious of everybody's time. With the indulgence of the whole community and all of the people that are with us today, I would really appreciate having all of those questions looked at, and then proper answers given to the question. So we could set that up. I will talk to Wayne, and we will send out the information. So we will question and answer, full answers to all of these great questions or any other questions that you have. And we will have a question and answer placed on our, probably the CSAC. He will probably put it on CSAC website so that everyone could have access to those questions and answers, and any other questions that may come up later on, because there are always so many of them. I think that if we started down the road knowing that we're already over time, it'll take us all afternoon, and some will miss the answers because they have other commitments this afternoon. So if that's all right with everyone, I will get working on that. Rosemary has all of the questions already. She will take them, collate them as on a sheet, and then I will make sure that you have answered for each and every one of them, and then put them up. I will try to have them for you by the end of the week so that they are comprehensive, and I would invite you all on that site. So we will send that out. We'll send out a blast to all of the principals so that you and all the co-chairs and the principals have access to all those answers.
Well, I do want to acknowledge a lot of the sharing that's been happening between our council chairs of the various schools. I think your ideas are fabulous. I just want to say the best way to proceed in any school year is really with the collaboration of the principal. I know that some of you are saying that sometimes it's difficult, but if you open up the discussions and insist on, of course, having your meetings with the principal, I think that so many of your great ideas and ways of moving on with getting things done in the school will be, collaborated, and it will be finalized. That's really the best way to go. Just trust the principal that you're working with. But I do love your questions. I love the idea that you want to network. I think that you should continue with that, with the understanding that the principal's aware of what you are wanting and how you're sharing with others. So that's all I'm going to say right now. I will give you a list, a general list of the themes that were given, Silvana, and
Thank you.
then we'll move on with that. Well, on my behalf, thank you to everyone. Yeah.
Thank you so very much to all of the chairs, co-chairs that joined us today. It was just fabulous to have you here. Thank you for giving up your Saturday morning with us. Hope that some of your questions were answered and that you were able to get a little bit of information out of my presentation today. And definitely, I concur with Rosemarie. I think it's really important that you communicate with your parents, with the community at large. Continue doing that. Work with your principals. Your principals are there to work with you to do the best for all of those children that are in your care, not only as a school council, but as a community as a whole. And I wish you nothing but the very best. God bless you all. Thank you again for being with Rosemary and I today. We really, really do appreciate it. And we want to wish you a very, it's early still, but a very Merry Christmas. I know this Christmas is not going to be like any others. We are in the Advent season as we wait. We are a people of hope. We wait for our Jesus to come on Christmas Day. And as we wait in joyful hope that all of this will be behind us and we will be back together, face to face, working together and loving each other and caring for each other. So God.
Silvana,
Yeah.
Silvana, I just have just a bit of news that I thought I wanted to share. It's interesting, and I think it's great for the Deaf and PO board. My brother-in-law, Father Ivan Camilleri,
Yes.
is Catholic priest in the for the Archdiocese of Toronto, and we just got a letter from the Vatican this morning. He has been named auxiliary bishop for the GTA, and he is part or went through the Dufferin Peel Catholic School Board. He attended St. Thomas More in elementary school and Philip Pocock in high school. So I just thought that's kind of neat. I don't know if the news really has broken yet. It just came out this morning, and obviously they can't have big ceremonies just yet, but I'm sure it will come out. But me being in the family, I kind of got the news first, so I wanted to share it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to him. Wow. We'll look forward to hearing the news. Thank you.
That's right. Yeah, and my son is in grade 8 this year, and unfortunately in grade 7 last year because of COVID he wasn't confirmed. So perhaps if things change, in the spring, he'll be able to be confirmed by his uncle.
That is so awesome.
That's
Congratulations
amazing.
to you and your family. Can you send me an email with all of that wonderful news and I can share it with other members of the board?
Sure, I will.
Thank you. I so appreciate it. God bless him and all of the work that he's doing. We need him desperately. Tell him to pray for us.
All right, I will. Thanks.
All the prayers we can. That is so exciting. Thank you for sharing that great news.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So thank you to all. God bless you all. And may you all have a wonderful weekend. And remember, if you need me, I'd love to hear from you if you have any questions. And if I don't have the answer, I promise I will go look for them.
And I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in person sometime in the near future, because it's so difficult to have the same, connections when you do everything on virtual. So
It's true.
thank you to everyone. Thank you for your kind wishes. Thank you.
Bye for now.
I'm not sure if you have to end the recording just by pressing